Schools is another flashpoint in the coronavirus debate, maybe the one you're having right now. The talking heads on CNN and MSNBC want schools closed this fall. They said so. But when MSNBC asked a sample of 5 doctors what they thought about sending kids to school, they got a surprising answer.
Would you let your kids go back to school?
I will. My kids are looking forward to it.
Yes. Period. Absolutely.
Absolutely. As much as I can.
Without a hesitation.
Without a hesitation, yes.
I have no concerns about sending my child to school in the fall.
I would let my kids go back to school.
Dr. John Torres, NBC News.
They all said yes.
I wonder how that made the final edit. The New York Times, Wall Street Journal both wrote editorials how we should send our kids back to school. So that's the science. Well, politicians and teachers unions listen to the science. Not so far. The Sacramento schools in California just announced as we started the show today that they won't offer in-person learning this fall. They'll follow California's 2 largest school districts. I'm talking about San Diego and Los Angeles. They won't do it. Melissa Francis, co-host Outnumbered, and After the Bell on Fox Business, but more importantly for this segment, a mom of kids who want to go to school. Melissa, are you surprised these school districts are throwing in the towel right now after already throwing the towel in the spring?
I am surprised. I do have 3 kids, and I joined those doctors that I would not hesitate to send all 3 of them back to school in the fall. But I worry about another thing. I did study labor economics in college. You didn't need to do that in order to understand that we are actively expanding the gap between rich and poor during this period, because there is a huge disparity in the damage that is being done to the kids who are being kept home. If you look at the statistics, and here in New York, depending on the district, depending on where it is, between 20 and 50% of kids are not logging on. They were not logging on. They were not doing anything during that whole entire period. It's not what's going on in my house. I have the means to work from home, first of all, and also to make sure that my kids are logging on and learning. I would also say in the independent schools in New York City, they have made a plan. They were doing live learning. They've done really smart, practical things, like rather than having your kids go to school Monday, Wednesday, Friday, why don't we stagger it through the day? So they all go every day, but you take the little kids, you bring them in earlier in the morning. You stagger it, then you can still have the same lower body count, but you're just starting people at different times of the day. There are really smart, practical things that can happen. But here's the biggest point, Brian. The Democrats that are fighting against sending kids back to school are consigning low-income children to a low-income future. And I'm wondering why they're doing that, because we know that one of the biggest predictors and one of the best ways to get out of poverty is early education. It's not college. It's elementary school, it's middle school, where you learn about yourself, where you learn all of the basics, and where you begin to say, well, maybe I can go to this high school, where teachers realize that maybe this child has this difference, has this disability, needs this kind of a support. Those kids, the low-income kids, are missing that. And my question is, how are teachers not essential workers? And when did we decide to put children last? Why are we putting children last? They must go to school.
Melissa, I agree. We got to show some resourcefulness and make it work. Don't say, I can't make it work. Do it. And when the Los Angeles School District comes out and says, yeah, for this to work, the teachers union, we need Medicare for all and we need to defund the police, I'm thinking to myself, wait a second, is the president 100% right? Politics is playing a role. Melissa, I hope your kids get back to school, and I hope all the kids watching right now get back to school. I think their parents feel the same way.
Me too.
Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. You'll be on Outnumbered.